Today, I'm revealing 15 hidden money crops nobody is growing that can sell for $20, $40, and even $80 a pound. And no, this video is not about growing more tomatoes, lettuce, or corn. Most Americans spend over $100 a month on overpriced supplements and superfoods, completely unaware those exact premium ingredients can thrive right in a backyard or a patio container. Pay close attention to the 8th plant on this list, because you might already be pulling it out of your driveway as a weed. Stop throwing your money away on mass-market wellness brands when buyers are actively searching for what you can grow. Grab a pen, hit that subscribe button, and let's turn your backyard into a profitable space. Here is plant number 1. Section 1. Ashwagandha, the supplement aisle plant. Let's start with ashwagandha. Most Americans have already seen it at Costco or Amazon in stress gummies, powders, and sleep capsules. But here's what people miss. It's not just a supplement trend. It's a real root crop you can grow and sell into a wellness market that already understands its value. Buyers exist. Clinical evidence suggests ashwagandha extract may help with stress, anxiety, and sleep quality, though quality and dosage matter. Here is the money reframe. You could spend $100 a month on stress supplements, or use that same $100 to start a small raised bed or container trial. Ayurvedic medicine has used ashwagandha for thousands of years. Modern science didn't create the trend. It's catching up. For growers, think dried roots, tea blends, and local wellness brands. But stress is only one part of the market. The next plant is even more backyard-friendly. Section 2. Lemon balm, the backyard sleep herb. Next is lemon balm. It sounds simple, but in the U.S., it connects to a massive market: sleep routines, calming teas, and people who are stressed and overstimulated. It fits perfectly into the calm lifestyle market. Clinical studies even suggest it has calming potential and supports sleep quality. From a growing angle, it's very beginner-friendly. It grows fast, can be harvested repeatedly, and is perfect for containers since it likes to spread. Here is the money difference. A tiny box of Sleepy Time tea costs $6 to $10, but one healthy plant gives leaves all season. Today, it easily fits into farmers' market bundles, dried blends, and Etsy shops. Once you understand calming herbs, the next plant makes perfect sense. Section 3. Tulsi/Holy Basil, the sacred herb gone mainstream. Now let's talk about Tulsi, or holy basil. This isn't the basil for pizza, it has a deeper story. In the U.S., you'll find it in adaptogen teas, immune support blends, and stress formulas for modern life. Tulsi is not just another green herb. It is considered sacred in Hindu culture and used in Ayurveda for balance and resilience. Modern clinical literature also supports its adaptogenic and stress-related potential, adding credibility. For growers, a plant with a story is easier to explain at farmers markets. Instead of buying another $18 adaptogen tea blend, imagine growing the main herb behind it in patio pots or raised beds. But not every wellness plant is about stress. Some sell because people want sharper focus, better skin, and healthier aging. Section 4. Gotu Kola, the brain plus skin crossover. Herb Gotu Kola is less familiar to most Americans, but skincare fans know it as centella, and supplement buyers see it in brain health formulas. Here is where it gets interesting. One plant touches two markets: cognitive wellness and skincare. Most people buy separate products for focus and aging, but growers look for plants connected to multiple buyers. Centella asiatica is reviewed for wound healing, skin support, and cognitive benefits. Modern skincare is already rebranding this traditional Asian medicine as a premium ingredient. For growers, think warm, moist conditions: shaded patio containers, humid greenhouses, or pots that don't dry out too fast. That's the wellness aisle. But some profitable plants start right in your flower bed or even your driveway cracks. Section 5. Calendula, the flower that becomes skincare. Now let's move from supplements to skincare. Calendula looks like a simple garden flower, bright, cheerful, almost too pretty to be taken seriously. But here's the thing. This flower is not just decoration. Calendula shows up in salves, oils, soaps, balms, and clean skincare products. Systematic reviews have found evidence supporting calendula extract for wound healing applications, which lines up with its long history in herbal skincare. And from a grower's point of view, it has a beautiful advantage. It's easy to grow, easy to photograph, and easy to explain. People pay $20 or $30 for a tiny jar of calendula salve at a farmer's market. But the flower itself can start from a seed packet. That's the real reframe, from garden flower to skincare ingredient. And if calendula proves a flower can become a product, the next plant proves a tree can become a superfood. Section 6. Moringa, the superfood tree. Next is moringa, the plant most Americans meet as an expensive green powder in smoothie mixes and health food stores. But moringa isn't just a powder. It's a fast-growing tree that keeps producing leaves in the right climate. Reviews describe these leaves as nutrient-rich, packed with protein, minerals, and phenolics, which is exactly why the superfood market loves it. For U.S. growers, this makes the most sense in Florida, Texas, Southern California, and the Gulf Coast. In colder states, it works well in containers brought indoors for winter. You can buy a bag of powder every month, or learn to grow the tree behind it. The superfood trend didn't invent moringa, it just put it in a bag with a premium label. But not every plant has to be exotic. Some become valuable because they solve a very American problem. Sugar. Section 7. Stevia, the sugar-free patio plant. Now let's talk about stevia. Most Americans know stevia as those little sugar-free packets next to the coffee machine, or as an ingredient in keto snacks, diet drinks, and diabetic-friendly sweeteners. But here's the surprising part. Stevia is not just a processed sweetener. It's a real plant, and in the right setup, it can grow in a patio pot, a container garden, or a small herb bed. The FDA notes that steviol glycosides from stevia are high-intensity sweeteners, around 200 to 400 times sweeter than table sugar. So it makes sense why the food industry turned it into a massive category. But for gardeners, the story feels more personal. Instead of buying processed sweeteners forever, you can grow the actual plant and control what goes into your tea. Stevia originally comes from South America, where it was used as a sweet herb long before it became a packet on a grocery shelf. And now we get to the plant that might completely change the way you look at weeds. Section 8. Purslane, the weed worth reframing. Now we get to purslane, a plant likely growing in your garden, raised bed, or driveway cracks. Most people see it and think, pull it out, it's a weed. But here's the thing. Purslane is edible. It's a fresh green, a chef ingredient, and a Mediterranean-style health food. Research even found its leaves can contain more alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3, than spinach. This is the perfect anti-waste plant. Some throw it away, while others sell it as a nutrient-dense green. It handles heat, grows fast, and costs almost nothing to start. You can use it in salads, tacos, omelets, or farmers market greens. Once you realize a weed can be a crop, the backyard looks different. But the next plant goes deeper. It's American history. Section 9. Yaupon holly, America's native caffeine plant. Now this one is fascinating. Yaupon holly. Americans spend money every day on coffee, matcha, and imported teas, but most have no idea North America has its own native caffeine plant. Yaupon is not just a landscaping shrub. In the American South, it can become a local tea product with a story no imported tea can copy. Research identifies it as a caffeine-containing plant, historically used by indigenous communities long before modern brands rediscovered it. This gives it a powerful advantage. Native plant, caffeine, local story. It fits into native landscaping, dried leaf products, local tea brands, and farmers market education. Now let's leave the teacup and walk into the restaurant kitchen, because chefs pay for flavor they can't fake. Section 10. Sichuan pepper, the chef ingredient with no substitute. Now let's talk about Sichuan pepper. The restaurant side of profitable plants gets really interesting here, as Americans are eating more regional Chinese food than ever. But Sichuan pepper is not just another spice. It creates a tingling, numbing, electric feeling on your tongue, a flavor experience chefs can't fake with black pepper or chili flakes. Research points to hydroxy-alpha sanshool as the key compound behind that buzzing sensation. That's the business lesson. You don't win by growing what grocery stores already have. You win by growing something a chef cannot easily replace. It fits real Sichuan cuisine, small batch chili oils, spice blends, specialty shops, and adventurous home cooks. Once you understand that chefs pay for irreplaceable flavor, shiso becomes much more interesting. Section 11. Shiso, the garnish that isn't just a garnish. Next is shiso, an herb that's easy to underestimate. Many see it with Japanese food and think it's just a garnish. But shiso is not just decoration. It's a functional herb and chef ingredient with a flavor you can't easily replace. It contains rosmarinic acid and compounds studied for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. From a gardening angle, it's a gift. It grows fast in warm weather, thrives in containers, and often reseeds itself. Instead of spending $100 on supplements, you can grow a plant that provides flavor and value all season. This isn't a trend. Japanese culture has used it for centuries. But not every valuable herb needs upscale restaurant appeal. Some sell because entire communities already know exactly what they want. Section 12. Culantro, the herb grocery stores keep missing. Culantro is one of those plants people confuse all the time. Americans often hear the name and think cilantro. But if you grew up with Latino, Caribbean, Vietnamese, or Thai cooking, you know exactly why the difference matters. Culantro has a stronger, deeper flavor, essential for authentic dishes where regular cilantro just doesn't hit the same. Here is the business lesson. Mass-market grocery stores ignore niche herbs, and that gap is exactly where small growers can win. Traditional food cultures knew its value long before research studied its bioactive properties. For growers in warm climates or shaded setups, culantro fits perfectly into Latino and Asian markets, restaurant supply, and CSA boxes. We've looked at chefs and wellness buyers. Now, let's look at a group where emotional spending gets really interesting. Section 13. Fenugreek, the seed crop with two markets. Fenugreek may not be the flashiest plant on this list, but here is the thing. Sometimes the best business crop isn't the most exciting. It's the one that stores well, ships well, and serves multiple buyers. It is familiar in Indian, Middle Eastern, and Ethiopian cooking, bringing a slightly maple-like flavor to curry powders and spice blends. But it also shows up in the wellness world, with systematic reviews examining its potential effects on blood glucose markers and lactation. For growers, the advantage is simple. The crop is the seed. Seeds are much easier to dry, store, package, and ship than delicate fresh herbs. This connects fenugreek directly to dried seed jars, sprouts, and small batch curry products. And now we get to a market where people spend with emotion, not logic. Pets. Section 14. Catnip, the pet industry payoff. Now let's talk about catnip. Most people think of a cheap toy in the pet aisle, but premium catnip is a completely different market. We're talking fresh, organic, locally grown catnip for handmade toys, natural pet stores, and farmers' market booths. Here is the emotional truth. Pet owners do not always spend logically, they spend with love. They might hesitate to buy premium vegetables for themselves, but they'll drop $20 on something special for their cat without thinking twice. Catnip's effect is linked to napetolactone, triggering active and relaxed behavioral responses. The best part? You don't have to educate Americans on what it is, you just show them why fresh, clean, premium catnip is better. The final plant brings us back to the American garden, because it's beautiful, useful, and native. Section 15. Echinacea, the American immune support garden plant. The final plant is Echinacea, or purple coneflower. You've probably seen it in U.S. flower beds or on the label of immune support supplements. But it is not just a pretty garden flower. It sits right at the intersection of native gardening and the wellness market. USDA guides describe it as adaptable and easy to cultivate, making it perfect for a backyard story. You might buy immune support capsules every winter while the actual plant grows as a perennial right in your yard. It has a long history among Native American nations. Modern supplements just packaged a story that was already there. For growers, it fits pollinator gardens, tea products, dried flower blends, and beautiful garden content. The lesson isn't to grow all 15 plants tomorrow. The real money is in growing what Americans already value, from stress relief to premium pet products. Your backyard is not just a hobby space. With the right plant and buyer, it's a profitable wellness aisle or chef's supply shelf. Which one will you grow first? The sleep herbs, chef herbs, superfoods, or the pet plant? Subscribe for more videos on turning overlooked crops into real opportunities.